They call it the Shovel War, a strange legend whispered in the mining villages of Cornwall. Some say it never happened. Others swear their great-grandfathers saw it with their own eyes. But one thing is certain: in the 18th century, life in the tin mines of Cornwall was so harsh, so desperate, that a war over shovels would not have been impossible. Cornwall's wealth came from the ground. Tin was the metal of the empire, and miners worked in brutal conditions to dig it out of the earth. Their rights to the land were fragile, marked by rough boundaries called tin bounds, a few stones, a shallow ditch. That was all that separated one man's livelihood from another's claim. And when those lines blurred, tempers flared. In village taverns, arguments over mine rights were as common as the smell of smoke and ale. "This shaft is mine." "No, the tin belongs to us." Voices rose, fists flew, and sometimes men would vanish underground, sabotaging pumps or smashing carts. Theft was frequent. And the most humiliating theft of all was the stealing of shovels. A shovel was more than wood and iron. It was a miner's survival. Without it, you could not work, you could not eat. To steal a man's shovel was to strip him of his dignity, his livelihood, his very place in the community. And so the legend says, one night, in the middle of the 1700s, a band of miners crept into the rival shaft of a neighboring group. By lantern light they stole every shovel they could find. When the victims discovered the theft at dawn, they did not go to the Stanley Court, the mining tribunal. They armed themselves with pickaxes, hammers, clubs, and whatever shovels remained, and marched into the village square. What followed was chaos. Dozens of men clashed in a storm of dust and sweat. Shovels cracked against skulls, pickaxes slammed into wooden carts, stones rained from rooftops as wives and children screamed. It was no battle of armies, no war of kings, but in that village it felt like Armageddon. The militia was eventually called to break the fight apart. Some men were hauled to prison. Others limped back to the mines, bloodied and beaten. But the story lived on. For generations, miners spoke of the shovel war as a warning, a half-joke, and a half-truth. Was it real? Historians point out that Cornwall saw countless disputes over mine rights. And many did erupt into violence. Courts recorded cases of sabotage, fistfights, and stolen tools. But whether there was ever one great battle fought only over stolen shovels, that part may forever remain legend. Yet in a way, the truth hardly matters. The story of the Shovel War captures the spirit of an age when men fought not for kings or crowns, but for the simple right to dig the earth with the only weapon they had, their shovel.